much, Mpho. Traditional healer Michelle Mvundla, better known as Mpho-Wa-Badimo, has claimed the Big Brother Mzansi Season 3 title of the ultimate housemate. Now, the social reality television competition, which sees 17 housemates living in the Big Brother house for about 70 days, returned this year. After 7 years, Mpho-Wa-Badimo becomes the first woman housemate to win the title, walking away with a cool 2 million rand. She was vocal about challenges in the house, being judged for being a sangoma, and her tumultuous relationship with housemate Laibo in Jomba. She joins us now in studio to tell us more about her journey and what she plans to do with all that money. But before that, let's take a look at her winning moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Big Brother Mzansi Season 3, Beke Lebeke, is Mpho-Wa-Badimo. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Cairo! It's been an amazing journey. Mpho-Wa-Badimo, as she kneels, gives her competitor a hug. It's crazy. It's massive. 2 million rand goes to Mpho-Wa-Badimo. She leaves.
That was the moment when Mpho-Wa-Badimo won the Big Brother housemate, of the season, of the series. A beaming smile when you look at that, Mpho. Good morning to you, first of all.
Morning.
Just take us back to that moment.
You know, this is the second time I think I'm seeing that, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, what just happened to my life? I didn't expect all of that to happen. That day was just memorable, and I'll forever treasure it. It's been amazing.
I mean, there's 70 days worth of things to talk about, so we're going to try to compact that now in this conversation. Let's start, before we go to you personally, let's start at the Big Brother house.
Yeah.
You know, some parts of it look really fun and great. Others not so much, particularly the beds. How was that like?
Well, in terms of the beds, let's just say spending 70 days on one bed, one mattress can be a little bit uncomfortable. But if you know your way around and you carry your weight, you will be comfortable. But I moved around a lot in the house. I think that was one of my reasons. And also, you know, I enjoyed the different bedrooms. At first, I struggled with the first bedroom, but I moved to the upper level, which was, you know, summer days, and it was a bit warmer there. So eventually, I gravitated back to the, you know, summer nights. But yeah. 70 days. 70
days having to twist and turn and sleep on either side to make sure that you don't go numb on one side. Now, you walk into the house, you are Mpho-Wa-Badimo, and South Africa goes, but the beautiful thing about that is you say, you call yourself the advocate of Indlozi. You demystify African spirituality. What was that like for you, and were you mindful of that fact?
To be honest, when I entered Big Brother, I actually was like, I'm not going to disclose to the housemates that I'm a sangoma, but going into the house the first week, it was a safe space, and we kind of got to speak a lot, you know. It was a lot. I struggled knowing who I am in the outside world and what I'm offering to the house. I had to find a balance between that, and there was a lot of, you know, judgment from the housemates, and it was a lot unsaid, but you could just feel, you know, that this is what's happening. But I expected it. I know it's been happening in the outside world, but experiencing it in a confined space, it was a bit hectic.
Yeah, I mean, and there's also certain rituals that you practice that you can't really practice in the Big Brother household in particular, because all of the cameras. What did you do to navigate that?
The first few days, you are very cognizant of the cameras, but you tend to forget and start being comfortable. And there were things I really needed to do that, you know, like, for example, taking my sniff, going to pray, isn't to like cook palas and all of those things. I had to do that because that is a part of who I am. And I couldn't be on the show and fake who I am, because I am a sangoma and I was there to change the narrative. So I had to be myself.
And that's exactly, actually, leads me to my next question, changing the narrative. You know, traditionally we see a sangoma and we call it a traditional healer, and you imagine it to be boxed in a certain way. And here comes Mpho-Wa-Badimo unraveling the packaging and, you know, making the underground gang cool.
Oh my gosh. It was never part of the plan. When I accepted my calling, I had those concerns as into, am I going to change my appearance and everything else? But I came back and I found comfort in who I am. It was a struggle at first to accept. And when I later on understood that break the stereotypes, be yourself, be comfortable, because this is who you are for the rest of your life. And the more I accepted who I am, the better life became, and that's why I wear my crown with pride.
And then as a result, you know, you are one of the authentic people within the house as a result of that. But
Thank you.
It must have not been, and as you say, you don't want to tell the contestants, so it must have not been easy for you to get to that point.
True.
Why did you try to hide it, or not try to hide it, but why did you want to conceal it at first?
Because it would have affected the game. If I could foretell whatever was going to happen, and that was a struggle, I don't want to lie. I had to actually plead my ancestors to allow me to play the game and be neutral. And also I had to learn to keep quiet at some stages. And when I was given the privilege by my ancestors to actually be allowed to be in the game, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, that's when I slowly gravitated and became more present in the house. Because I struggled the first few weeks. I could literally hear a conversation that was held in another room. I would be like, are you talking about me? And it would be uncomfortable, you know. And I knew what I was getting myself into, and it was the test of life. And I need to adapt, and I'm used to being around myself. So I think the house was a great test, and I'm doing very better, you know, at life right now.
Yeah, I mean, some people might say that you had a cheat code in that regard.
Oh, my goodness.
And it happened. People brought it up.
Yeah.
You know, people who were watching the show brought it up and said, but your ancestors are
Yeah.
surely telling you
Yeah.
where to go, what to do, and what not
Yeah.
to do. How much of what happened in the house was through their guidance?
In the house, all I had was my faith and prayer. And anything else that happened was me being myself. I didn't allow my gift to be part of the game. Yes, I navigated in terms of strength, wisdom, guidance. But at the end of the day, what I presented there was Mpho-Wa-Badimo, who is being in the Big Brother house, who is living her dream in the house. And I didn't want that to be viewed as I manipulate myself through life. I'm not a magician. I'm a healer.
Did you feel a sense of comfort when the other housemates started joining in with the snafe and, you know, becoming, you know, accepting? Yeah.
It was exciting to see because it kind of showed people that I'm not doing this because I feel like it, but also I shouldn't be, you know, stereotyped and put on the corner and be like, hey, because this and this. But when the housemates did that, I laughed a lot. And they took my sniff a lot. And even Big Brother noticed. But we are the same. You know, I'm human as well. I laugh at the same jokes you laugh at. I eat the same food you do. It's just that I walk with a gift that I was born with.
And Big Brother was very cognizant of your gift as well.
Yeah.
Tokos every time after your diary sessions, which was really nice to see.
Very.
You say you knew you were going to win. Unpack that for me.
Not necessarily knew I was going to win.
Yeah.
Actually, going into the house, it was about me living my dream. I've always wanted to be on the show. And I was praying about winning, but the 2 million rand was never part of the plan. I was like, whatever happens, happens in the show. I'm there to serve a purpose. And I remember I said something to Big Brother that I serve a purpose of being the doorkeeper in the house. It's like everyone that's about to exit the house, I sort of have a moment with them. And I didn't realize that I ended up being the doorkeeper for myself because towards the end of the game, I had to have certain conversation with myself until I realized that you are in the top 5.
Yeah, and you kept that door of the Big Brother house. I mean, how many times were you nominated every week?
Wow.
0 challenges.
Zero head of house.
0 head of house, 0 everything.
Yeah.
But you came out at the top, which is phenomenal. And you managed to beat an alliance by the men in that. So that must have been really special for you. Really
special because when you're in the house, you kind of lose, you know, sight of what's going on outside. Don't understand what's going on. There are actually people that are standing up for you, like the underground gang, supporting my stay in the house. I went there expecting nothing, with no one who was supporting, knowing that I'm going into the house. So me sitting down every week was a confirmation, a validation of that you are worthy of being here. You might not win everything because I didn't go into the house to acquire physical, you know, skills or anything. I went there to acquire emotional growth and spiritual growth. And that's what I got from the house. And look where I am
And I
today.
believe you shared a lot of it because now people understand you don't have to win at everything in life to win
True.
at the end.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about coming out of the house.
Yeah.
And, being reunited with your baby.
Yeah.
And how it was like to not be with your child for, close to 3 months.
Crazy. I've missed out on so much. It was so emotional. But I took from that everything happens for a reason. I had to be there. Also, it was a part of my journey. I had to go there and grow and heal. There were so many things that I was struggling with prior to the house. And going into the house, it's a very transformational journey. I needed that. People don't realize how much that house can build you up and break you at the same time. It's about how you choose to look at it that changes your perspective of being in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a great exchange. 70 days for 2 million rand.
Yeah.
I'd give that up.
Yeah.
And speaking about that 2 million rand, apart from the money that I'm going to borrow from you after this,
Oh, wow.
what are you going to do with all of that money?
I had plans prior going into the house, short-term and long-term goals, whether I have won or hadn't won. 2 million is not that much of a money. I need to be smart, stretch the money. To me, it looks like a seed. I need to plant it and get more, get harvest, from it. So I'm looking into doing things that I already plan to do, and I just need to settle down a bit because it's been a crazy week for me. But I need to prioritize who I am and also work as though I don't have any money in my account. I don't want to relax. I'm just 27, and there's still a long life to go.
A 27-year-old millionaire, though, that's what you are. But correct, it isn't a lot of money, so you'd have to be smart about that.
Absolutely.
I just want to quickly go back to the housemates. At the end, Temba's face, it told a story.
Oh my God.
When you were being named the winner.
Oh my God.
Obviously, you believe that he should have won, but what do you make of some of the reactions from the housemates after being crowned?
It is perfectly normal because what we don't know as a public is that being in the house and watching the house are two different things. There's emotional stress. There's a lot of things that go on. We invest so much. And all of us that went to the house took a risk. It was a risk. We left our families. We left our jobs. We left everything that we knew. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm going back to the life I knew, not knowing that life will never be the same for you. And you already planned with the 2 million. Your family needs it. We're all breadwinners, I think, coming into the house. Our families are in some way looking at us for some kind of support. So, I mean, seeing their faces like that, I wasn't shocked. I would have been that way. 2 million, could have done a lot, you would think to yourself, but the biggest prize is actually going into the house and leaving the house. Like, I mean, it's such an amazing experience. Lives will never be the same. We have to take this and run with it.
A lot of support you had on social media, particularly because of your calling and your gift. A lot of people defending you as a result of that. What did you make of all that when you came on? Did you take some time to sit down, go through some of the tweets that people were sharing of you and with you?
I have just been overwhelmed with the love I've been receiving from the people that have been supporting my stay in the house. It has been refreshing to see. Haven't looked much on the tweets and anything else, but I would have conversations with, people that are around me, and they would tell me that people supported you stay in the house. It was not just people in Mzansi, but it was the hashtag, the underground gang. And it was amazing to see. I cry every day because I'm receiving gifts, phone calls, emails, and you're in the house, you think the world rejects you, and you come out, you feel so loved. And all I can say is that I'm grateful.
In closing, I just want to talk about the alliances that were formed at the end. And in my house, personally speaking, I saw how that rallied the women behind you. Is that what you found happened across the country and across the continent?
Yes. This is history. It's so amazing. The comeback season, and I'm the female to take the prize. It couldn't have been anyone else. But at the same time, I want us also remember that we all played our game, irrespective of a strategy or not. I came there and I was myself, and that was also a strategy. And in the end, I remained who I am. And I think my transparency, people related to who I am, and I think that's what, made the competition end up in the way that it did. Not to say that other housemates didn't, but I felt a lot of relatability when I speak to people that were supporting my journey. They were being healed while they were watching the show. They were going through their own journeys while I was going through mine. So it's been amazing.
Phenomenal. What a worthy winner you are. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On that 2 million rand. That is Michelle Mvundla, best known as Mpho-Wa-Badimo. No more Bekele Beke, but she will be sticking around, of course. I'm pretty sure of that, as she looks to do great. great things with that 2 million rand. Right, and that's where we end that conversation. But coming up, we'll give you the spotlight as we speak to visual artist Mbongeni Fakudze about his solo exhibition. Culmination is what it's called. Looking forward to that conversation with Mpho Sithole after this. Stay with us.